From Studio 1A in Tampa, Florida, comes a talk show that really feels your pain and tells you like it is. We love America and all that freedom-loving Americans want to protect. Live from coast to coast and on your radio, it's For the People with Keith Allen.
We'll help you survive this thing called life. We're for the people. Whatever your source of stress or strife, for the people is there.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Keith Allen and proudly welcoming you to this Thursday's edition of For the People on a July the 13th, 2017. We are busily at work today, and I've just got piles of things to talk about. But we're going to have an intelligent conversation, and one with common sense. And I think Donald Trump, he's got a thesis, and I think he's onto something here. And we're going to play the 700 Club interview with Pat Robertson, who amazes me. I don't know how old he is, but he's up there. He's like, I think late 80s, 90s, still bench pressing like 300-400 pounds with his legs. Does these energy shakes every day. You got to give him a lot of credit, man. This guy is a workhorse. But interviewed the president, and President Donald Trump is debunking these reports, of course, about Russian President Vladimir Putin wanting him in the White House because basically people are saying that the Kremlin is using Donald Trump, wanted Donald Trump. And so Donald says, you know, we're the most powerful country in the world. We are getting more and more powerful because I'm a big military person. So Trump is telling CBN founder Pat Robertson in an interview to be aired today on a lot of the 700 Club channels. So you may want to look for times and listings for that. But an exclusive interview. Well, I got the audio right here. But I think he lays it out very methodically and intelligent. If you were to ever do a thesis, I think here's the premise for it. This is very brilliant. Trump with Pat Robertson of the 700 Club.
What do you think he wants? I mean, I know he said what he wants, but what do you think his game is?
Well, he wants what's good for Russia.
Yeah.
And I want what's good for the United States.
Okay.
And I think, like in a case like Syria, where we can get together, do a ceasefire, and there are many other cases where getting along can be a very positive thing. But always Putin is going to want Russia, and Trump is going to want the United States. And that's the way it is. And sometimes you're not going to get along on things, and sometimes you will. But we had a good meeting. It was a face-to-face meeting. It was a long meeting. It was 2 hours and 15 minutes. Yeah. Everyone was surprised by the amount of time, but that was a good thing, not a bad thing.
Sure.
I think we got along very well, and I think that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know, people said, "Oh, they shouldn't get along." Well, who are the people that are saying that? I think we got along very, very well. We're a tremendously powerful nuclear power, and so are they.
That's right.
It doesn't make sense not to have some kind of a relationship.
Well, we used to have that thing called mutually excused destruction mad, and it's still there because he can hurt us. He can decimate our country, and we can do the same thing to him.
It's something you don't even like talking about, but again, we're the most powerful country in the world, and we are getting more and more powerful because I'm a big military person. As an example, if Hillary had won, our military would be decimated. Our energy would be much more expensive. That's what Putin doesn't like about me. And that's why I say, why would he want me? Because from day one, I wanted a strong military. He doesn't want to see that. And from day one, I want fracking and everything else to get energy prices low and to create tremendous energy. We're going to be self-supporting. We just about are now. We're going to be exporting energy. He doesn't want that. He would like Hillary, where she wants to have windmills. Okay? Yeah. He would much rather have that because energy prices will go up, and Russia, as you know, relies very much on energy. So there are many things that I do that are the exact opposite of what he would want. So when I keep hearing about that he would have rather had Trump, I think probably not, because when I want a strong military, you know, she wouldn't have spent the money on the military, but when I want a strong military and when I want tremendous energy. We're opening up coal. We're opening up natural gas. We're opening up fracking, all the things that he would hate. But nobody ever mentions that.
All right. Once again, that's Pat Robertson with Donald Trump on the 700 Club talking about what I call a great grounds for a thesis on why it was that Vladimir would have most likely have preferred Hillary Rodham Clinton, who likes to build windmills. I love it. She doesn't have one in Chappaqua. There's no windmills. It's just this leftist idea, and it's going to change the world, and everybody's going to be absolutely terrific with solar. But anyway, I thought it was good. I thought it made a lot of sense from a military standpoint, from energy, from fracking, from all of the things, us providing gas, natural gas to Ukraine. We actually are the ones exporting it. We have such an enormous supply of natural gas that we're upping that into foreign nations and doing a great job. Russia doesn't like that. Now, as far as the nuke game goes, we're the two major superpowers that we could decimate each other's countries so quick. It's a lose-lose for both countries. Lose-lose. What's more scary than just that thought that we've been living under that premise for decades is what we've heard about for years about scary is missing nukes from Russia. Backpack bombs and things like that could end up in the wrong hands that are literally missing, and we have no idea where they are. But that freaks me out a little bit more than just all these nukes and all that buildup and all that other stuff like that. And I think, from a logical standpoint, when Trump says, I understand this guy, I mean, we are not the only superpower on the planet. We are the most powerful military on the planet, but Russia's got their own too. China's got their own. So does most countries have their military. So it's though we do have a very great military, every country wants what's best in their interest, what they see fit for their country. If they're the leader, they're in charge. That's what they do. That's what leaders do. And so to find some common ground, something we can work on, I think that's great. And just recently, when the world's been talking about Russia, well, they haven't been talking about it in front page news or anything like that or in the headlines, but about the ceasefire in Syria. Trump did that. Yeah, Donald Trump did that with Vladimir Putin on a sit-down at the G20. That's a big deal, but you don't think that that's going to be headline news? No, not a chance. There's plenty that has been going on in the world around us besides Russia. And we're going to update you on For the People today and what is going on. And if you don't get the full 2 hours, well, you can always go to our website. We do have hours 1 and 2. And for those of you that did not know that, 3 weeks ago now that we've gone 2 hours. So we got 2 packed hours. And again, if you're only listening to the first hour, that's great. We appreciate you listening. But if you'd like to catch up later on, we do have the second hour available on our website at forthepeopleshow.com, 24 hours a day. But I love the interview. And the interview is following, of course, Donald Trump Jr.'s release of emails. And the interesting thing is now we're learning more about the lawyer and the Department of Justice now that let the lawyer in. And the Hill's reporting on the Obama Justice Department allowing the Russian lawyer who met with Donald Trump Jr. into the country. And Obama's Justice Department let her in for a court case months before the meeting occurred. Nadala. Yeah, she was given special permission to enter the United States by then Attorney General Loretta Lynch, as I'm learning here. And this actually was granted to work on this court case in New York City, and her stay was supposed to have been limited to October 2015 to early January 2016, but no one has been able to explain why Valencia was still in the United States 6 months later when she met with Donald Trump Jr. Very interesting, but that's the timeline right now. And Natalie claimed to have damaging information on Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton. But their brief 20-minute meeting in the Trump Tower instead focused on Russian adoption issues. There's no smoking gun here. Media still looking for a smoking gun. Those on the left, smoking gun. Schumer, treason. You know what you do with treasonous people? You know what we did with treasonous people? You kill them. So Donald Trump Jr. should be killed, assassinated, or whatever you want to do. You want to throw him in a grave because of a 20-minute meeting, because he thought that he had a dirt. Listen, if you didn't think that you had some dirt on your opponent and somebody said, hey, yeah, I'll give you 20 minutes. Just, who knows if it's true or not. We'll give you 20 minutes. Come in and just listen. Probably a waste of my time. She comes in and she starts talking about adoption because this is what's important to her. She was bluffing. She had nothing. And so when people say on the right, it's a nothing burger, that's exactly what it is. It's a nothing burger. And if you want to thank anybody for this attorney, for her being able to get in here like this, you got to thank Obama's DOJ. Okay? Yeah, Hillary Clinton, she dug up plenty of dirt. She tried to hide a lot of dirt on her servers, did not surrender, plenty of computers that are still missing, plenty of phones that are still missing. She's still, by the way, just newsflash here for some of you that may not know, she's still under investigation. There's still ongoing investigations for Hillary Clinton. Still. And a lot of unknown stuff still trying to figure out how in the world she was able to get out of it, seemingly, at least at the moment, but still under investigation. And here's the residuals left over from Obama, from his laxness. It doesn't surprise me that Loretta Lynch, they weren't even monitoring her activity here in the United States. And supposedly this attorney was seen plenty of times on Capitol Hill, many times on Capitol Hill, meeting with senators from all over the country. So what her ties may or may not be, we really fully don't know, but more information will be coming out. But the Department of Justice, again, under the Obama administration, allowed her into the United States. A lot of people say she doesn't have any pull, she doesn't have any clout, to some promotion, some singer, but it's not directly, affiliated with the Kremlin. There'll be more dirt that's going to be dug up on that. But if, again, you want to blame anybody for it, The Hill's reporting it today, so you may want to just look into it. Russian President Vladimir Putin was so incensed at the legislation, he stopped Americans from adopting Russian orphans. So Zelensky herself says that she was attempting to sway Trump to either overturn this act that they did like of legislation, which pushes Russian officials and businessmen believed tied to the death of Sergei Magnitsky, who the United States maintains was killed in Moscow jail awaiting trial on a phony tax fraud charge. So a little politics involved there. But she's been seen out with photos and video now, also attending a dinner with Representative Dana Rockenbacher of California, the chairman of the House Subcommittee on Russian Policy. And then there was a dinner at Capitol Hill, about 20 people. With businessmen and Congress people there. And she was present with U.S. colleagues, including former Democratic Representative Ronald Dellums, a friend of Rottenberg, said that he believes that Dellums was hired lobbyist to aid in trying to overturn the Magnitsky Act, at least to keep Magnitsky's name, and if I'm not even pronouncing that right, it's like mile long, off a global act of being considered by Congress. So, this is legislation and really amounts to adoption. But such lobbying fell outside the limited time and reasons Zelensky was granted permission to enter the United States without a visa. So in October, the government bypassed the normal visa process and gave a type of extraordinary permission to enter the country called the immigration parole. Assistant U.S. Attorney Paul Magenstoth told the judge on January 6, 2016, that the Discovery Act